Retired Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman is a decorated Army Ranger, wounded in combat in Iraq. But we may know him best for his most recent role in the Trump White House. National Security Correspondent David Martin has his story.
I was the driving force behind this whole thing. I'm getting some chills thinking about it right now.
Alexander Vindman is talking about the impeachment of President Trump. Resplendent in his Army uniform, he was the star witness against his commander-in-chief.
This is America. This is the country I've served and defended, that all of my brothers have served, and here, right matters.
And that is the title of his memoir, a coming to America story which began in 1979 when his widowed father, Semyon, packed up Alexander, his identical twin Eugene, and their older brother and fled Ukraine, which was then part of the Soviet Union.
I know that for my children, it is no future, bright future there. That's why it is time to go in the free country.
So what did you expect to find when you came to this country?
I expected freedom.
Did you find freedom here?
Yes, I found freedom, more freedom than I expected.
They grew up in Brooklyn, speaking Russian at home while Semyon made $20 a day moving furniture. An immigrant family with rambunctious twins who didn't learn discipline until they joined the Army. Alexander became an infantry officer and earned a Purple Heart in Iraq.
It was an ambush with an improvised explosive device.
Well, what were your injuries?
I took shrapnel, which I still have, in my leg, my shoulder, my back.
Using his Russian language skills, Alexander went to work for then Joint Chiefs Chairman General Joseph Dunford and accompanied him to meetings with Russian Chief of Staff General Valery Gerasimov.
When Chairman Dunford introduced me as of Ukrainian origin, Gerasimov joked that no wonder relations between the U.S. and Russia are so bad.
Then, on the day of Donald Trump's summit meeting with Vladimir Putin in Helsinki,
it's kept us separated. There was no collusion at all.
Alexander reported to the White House for his dream job on the National Security Council staff.
The job that I had been trying to get to, the heart of government, the belly button for everything that was going on.
Eugene, an Army lawyer, became the National Security Council's chief ethics officer.
I never expected that they began working in the White House. The best people working in the White House, both of them, twins. It is unusual.
1 year later, Alexander took notes as Trump held his now infamous phone call with the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky.
What did it sound like?
He was distant, he was morose, he was reluctantly conducting this phone call, and only when they came around to this discussion of the Bidens did he kind of engage and perk up.
According to the transcript, Trump asked Zelensky to do us a favor, open an investigation into then Democratic candidate Joe Biden and his son Hunter's dealings in Ukraine. What Alexander did next made the name Vindman a household word.
I'd go straight upstairs into the legal suite, and my twin brother's office is almost as soon as you walk in. I go in, close the door, and I tell him, Eugene, if what I'm about to tell you becomes public, the president will be impeached.
Did you want the president to be impeached?
I had no thoughts about this ever becoming public.
We may not have known all the consequences in that first 5-minute conversation, but our mind was very quickly made up about what actions we would take and what our duty was.
For their father, accusing the President of the United States of impropriety was unthinkable.
I tell him, stop, don't do this.
What did you think would happen?
I live in Soviet Union 47 years. If he tried to do this in Soviet Union, he immediately go in prison without question for a long time. In the Stalin was, he maybe live 3 days only, and they shot him in prison immediately.
On this vote, the yeas are 229, The nays are 198. Present is 1. Article 2 is adopted.
The Democratic majority in the House voted to impeach.
It is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
But the Republican majority in the Senate voted to acquit, and the Vindman twins were banished from the White House.
The Senate trial ends, I believe, on a Wednesday. I was let go on Friday.
And they fired your brother?
They fired my brother for good measure.
We were in the middle of an enemy camp. I was surprised that it took till Friday before we were both marched out.
What did you think about that?
They not deserve to go from house. They honest people. It's served in the army 21 years. He fight in Iraq. He protected our freedom.
They were both still on active duty in the Army, and the commander-in-chief tweeted that Alexander had been very insubordinate.
I'm not happy with him. You think I'm supposed to be happy with him? I'm not.
Very, very quickly, I discovered that the Department of Defense wanted me out of sight and out of mind.
Alexander had already been selected to attend the Army War College, a plum assignment that carried with it a promotion to colonel. It looked good on paper, but senior officers privately warned him he had no future in the Army.
The best I could expect to do is to ride out a career as a colonel and do some fluff assignment somewhere else.
Where's the fluff assignment?
I could have ended up as in a radar station in Alaska.
Eugene stayed in and was promoted to colonel. But Alexander hit send on his retirement papers and left the Army to become a historical footnote.
How many officers in the United States Army can pinpoint exactly the moment they made the difference? And that seems like a small price to pay, a small sacrifice for my nation.
You remember how you ended your opening statement?
Of course.
Dad, do not worry. I will be fine for telling the truth.
Were you fine?
It didn't look great, and I was deeply concerned about, taking care of my family, meeting my family's needs. But I also had the confidence that I'd be able to start over like my father did.
That's why I bring you here. It's a free country. You can do what you want.
The president has indeed abused his authority, and he has indeed obstructed justice.
For much of this country, the impeachment of President Trump was a political circus.
Then he runs off to the lawyer, the same lawyer who said in January of 2017 the coup has started against President Trump.
For the Vindman family, it was a coming to America story like no other.
A good voice. I like this voice. It is very nice.